A man is cleaning the inside of a building when, all of a sudden, a body falls on the truck outside. Two men are having dinner together and talking about alcoholism and how important it is to forgive people who are recovering alcoholics, like the man in the suit. He says it's hard to forget because of what happened to his family 5 years ago and that they wish they could talk more about normal things. Later, when the same man crosses a police line, it turns out that he is a detective and his name is Bowden. Another cop takes him to the crime scene where he shows him the dented truck with a dead body on top of it. He looks at the building behind the truck and checks out the body. The other cop thinks it's impossible for someone to jump with that much force from such a small building. Detective Bowden notices that there is no glass on the ground around the truck and believes that it rolled out to where it was found. The two agents walk around a corner and find a building that would better match their crime scene. It's next to a modern skyscraper. Then we are introduced to the characters. First, a man in a hoodie is lingering. Then, a man in the red tie walks by him and enters the building. Next, the security guard picks up the phone at the reception desk, and a confused old lady is standing in the middle of the lobby. Then a young woman walks by the security guard and into the lobby. The guard stops her, and she goes to the end of the line to sign the visitor's log. The guard then tells the other man at the reception that he needs to take a package to the 39th floor and then goes towards the elevators. The old lady and the man in the red tie want to get in one of the elevators, but it's already full, so they take the other elevator. The security guard enters with them. As the door closes, someone calls out to wait, and the young woman from before comes in. Someone then grabs the doors. He walks inside, and it's the same hoodie guy. Once everyone is inside, the elevator starts to move, but all of a sudden, it stops and gets stuck. Meanwhile, in the main security room, an older security guard is watching a hockey game. A younger security guard comes in and chats about the game. He notices that one of the lifts is in inspection mode, so the older security guard calls the building engineer about the problem. He is fixing a broken window high up in the building. The guard tells him to check on the elevator first because people are stuck inside. Back to the lift, the old lady keeps asking the security guard about emergency procedures, but he is unaware of them because he is working temporarily. He presses the emergency button, and the old lady and the man with the red tie ask him why he doesn't have a walkie-talkie. A voice from the communication system tells them that he knows they're stuck and that an engineer is on his way to figure out the problem. The older security guard talks to them over the intercom and asks them to say something to the camera. He then realizes that the microphone is broken because he can't hear them. The guard in the lift tries to call the lobby but doesn't get the signals. The young woman gives him her phone. The call is short and the signal goes out quickly. In the lift, music starts playing and the guy in a red tie starts singing, annoying everyone. At the top of the building, as the engineer walks to the machine room, the wind blows off his hat and he almost falls off the building. At the base of the building, two officers are coming up to it and talking. Meanwhile, the two detectives are talking when he sees broken glass on the pavement and a man is cleaning up more broken glass. He tells the man to stop and he declares the area a crime scene. A big piece of glass falls from the building, almost killing his partner. The engineer is checking the elevator from the shaft. He contacts the main security room to let them know that everything looks fine, but that they will need to reset the elevator. Back at the elevator, the older security guard tells the group that the lights will go out for 20 seconds. The lights go out, and when they come back on, the old lady screams at the security guard to get away from her. He apologizes, and he tells them that he's very claustrophobic. The third man pushes the top panel of the elevator, letting air into the elevator. When the security guard asks if they should try to climb up, the other man says it's too dangerous. The engineer calls the machine room and asks if the reset worked, and when they reply that it didn't work, he tells them that he'll go investigate the issue from the basement. Two guards in the main security room talk about the building's broken window and how someone might have jumped off of it that morning. This makes the younger one very concerned. Back in the lift, the red-tied man gives the old woman his business card. He comments on the old lady, which starts a conversation between the group. He says he can tell if someone is rich or not by looking at their clothes. He compares the old lady to the young woman and says that the young woman's clothes look more expensive. The young lady turns her back on him, but she quickly reacts by saying that he grabbed her butt. As the elevator light starts flickering, the older guard calls the engineer to ask if he is doing that. The engineer says he is just looking at the elevators from the basement and everything looks fine there too. He pulls a lever on the side of the elevator and asks if it works. The older guard replies that nothing has changed, so he decides to go back to the roof and reset it manually. As they watch from the main office, the lights start to flicker again. The younger guard guard then sees something strange on the screen that scares him. The engineer hears a strange noise and follows it under the elevators. However, an elevator that is going down almost crushes him. The lights in the elevator flicker again and then go out completely. The group hears strange noises as the lights go on and off. When the light comes back on for the third time, the young lady lies on the ground. The guard in the main office asks what's going on. When the younger guard notices that the young lady is hurt, the people inside are scared. The red tie man sees the blood on him and tries to hide it from the others. The young woman says she felt like something bit her, so the third man asks if anyone has something sharp that could have hurt her. The security guard notices blood on the red tie man. The man tries to explain that she just fell on him, and the guard goes to frisk him for a weapon. Back in the main office, the guards decide to call the police because there has been an assault inside the elevator. Detective Bowden is speaking with forensics outside the building when he gets a call about the elevator. It's about a building with a broken window. He brings his partner with him. When the younger guard gets back to the main office, he finds the video from when he saw something strange on the screen and shows it to the older guard. The older guard says it's just grain. It looks like the younger one saw something sinister, so he grabs his cross. The older one tries to calm him down. Inside the elevator, the security guard and the third man try to force the doors open. They don't know if there's a way up through the shaft. The old woman is scared that the elevator might fall because it's stuck in the air. The man in the red tie tries to help, but the guard sends him back to keep an eye on him, still believing that he hurt the woman. The two agents enter the main security room. The older guard shows him the footage and explains the assault. He tells them that the others in the elevator think that the man in the red tie is to blame. The detective inspects the situation, tells the guards to call the elevator company and ask for a repairman, and tells his partner to call the fire department. He asks about the people inside, especially the security guard. After learning he is temporary, he tells the guards in the main office to get his files. The younger guard tells him about what he saw on the video, but the older guard waves it off again. The detective doesn't believe it either, and he tells the people in the lift to show their IDs on the camera so he can figure out who they are. The writing on the IDs is not clearly visible, so they go to the lobby to check the visitor's log. The younger guard is watching the cameras in the elevator when the lights inside start to flicker again. Suddenly, the young woman sees all the people disappear and then come back as bloody bodies on the floor. The next second, it's like nothing happened and everyone is back. The lights go off completely, the elevator mirror shatters, and strange noises can be heard in the dark again. When the light comes back, it is revealed that the man with the red tie was stabbed in the neck with some glass. The younger guard calls the two detectives back, and they see that the man is dead. Detective Bowden calls for backup, and as he looks at the video, the younger guard starts telling a story to everyone. He says that when the devil is near, it always starts with suicide, and people around you get hurt. The devil can shapeshift into a human and hurt people. He finishes off by saying someone among the people in the lift could be the devil. The detectives are not interested in the story, so they keep looking at the video and think the security guard in the lift might have murdered him. His partner says that his records show that he is a dangerous criminal. The people in the lift are also speculating about who the killer might be. The fire department shows up at the building through the main security office. Detective Bowden declares the area a crime scene. He doubts that it was an accident, but he also thinks that the people don't look like killers. He gets an idea and asks the man inside to volunteer. He tells the man to take out the paper from the pocket of the dead man. It's a letter from which the detective in the office figures out that the dead man was about to visit someone in the building. First, the detectives meet with the fire department. Detective Bowden then goes to the floor where the window is broken. His partner says in the suicide letter that the jumper left is quite strange because at the very end, it's written that, "I can hear the devil's footsteps drawing near." The firefighters try to open the elevator doors from the outside, but it doesn't even budge. The man inside tries to get out by climbing to the top of the elevator, but the guard pulls him back down, thinking he's trying to escape. The detective then speaks with the person from the building who the dead man was going to meet. Upon learning that he was a scam artist, he asks him for a list of people he had scammed. The people in the elevator start to search for each other again. The detective is back at the main security office and tells his partner that one of them didn't sign in. He says that if they were out to kill the guy with a red tie, they wouldn't be stupid enough to do that. He gives him the other list and tells him to compare it to the first one. The detective then goes to talk to the security guards. The young guard shows him the face from the video, but instead, the detective shows him the apology note from the person who killed his wife and child in a car accident. He says that evil people don't need any help from the devil. While they are talking, the old guard is reviewing the footage. He comes across the moment when the lady said that someone grabbed her butt, but the footage shows no one doing it, and the guard starts suspecting her, thinking she might be lying. They tell the people in the lift to stop frisking each other. An argument starts again in the elevator, and the old lady threatens to use pepper spray on the security guard. The guard takes the spray from her hands. The older guard is calling the engineer to tell him. As the engineer climbs down the elevator shaft, he can't get his walkie-talkie. He falls off the rope, and one of the chains on his safety gear breaks. Meanwhile, the guard in the elevator mocks the old lady's expired pepper spray. Suddenly, something big falls on top of the elevator. In a moment, blood starts dropping from the top. They can hear the walkie-talkie and figure out that it's the engineer who fell. They can't get off the top of the panel to help. Detective Bowden goes to check on the elevator and sees the dead engineer on top of it. He tells them that they can hear the walkie-talkie and that they should switch channels. When the firefighters start to break down the wall, they watch the footage in the main office and see that the old woman was stealing wallets. Detective Bowden says all of them were bad people. Suddenly, the screen shows that everyone inside is dead, but only the police officer can see that. Next, they find a video of the third man and see that he had a bag when he entered the building, but no bag in the elevator. The lights in the elevator flicker again and then go out. The guard lights a match and sees something strange next to him. When the light comes back, the old woman is dead, hanging in the corner. Detective Bowden sees that on screen and declares a lockdown of the building, with everyone inside going to the lobby. The detective and the younger guard are the only ones in the office, while the older guard goes to the basement. The younger guard tells Bowden that they are exactly where the devil wants them to be. In the elevator, the two men take the old woman's body down, while the detectives look for the bag and find it in a public restroom near the lobby. They find tools in the bag, and it's possible they could have been used to rig the elevator. Back in the main office, the younger guard is alone, so he starts praying over the intercom. The people in the elevator don't like what he's doing. Then the two guys start fighting. The girl is telling the security guard to kill the other guy. The guard is still praying in the main office, so the detectives go to check what's going on in the elevator. The people are told to move back and put their hands on the walls. Detective Bowden asks the younger guard how his story ends. He says that everyone will die. His partner tells him that the young lady doesn't have a clean record either, because she was married to a rich man and was in the building to see a lawyer. They run into the lobby and look for the lawyer. He reveals that they should look for people close to her and that his area of expertise is forensic accounting. The police officer asks to talk to the woman's husband on the phone, while the older security guard turns off the water in the basement. He tells the firefighters, and they keep breaking through the wall. He finds a wire that is submerged in water and tries to pull it out. Moments later, he runs into the lobby and falls over. Detective Bowden runs towards him, but he dies. Back in the lift, the three people remaining start arguing again. The two detectives return to the office, and Bowden thinks that the young lady's husband may have planned it all, since he owns the security company that works in the building. The detective believes that the guard inside the elevator is guilty and that the other two victims were just decoys. Back in the elevator, the lights go out again. The detective advises them to use their phone screens as lamps, but their phones get snatched out of their hands. When the lights come back, the security guard is already dead. The two people left quickly, taking a piece of glass to protect themselves. The detective is desperate and asks the younger guard how he can help them. The younger guard tells him that they need to take responsibility for who they are. The detective then shares a personal story about that and tells them to put down the glass. As soon as they do it, the lights go out again. When light comes back, the young lady is on the ground with a piece of glass stuck in her throat. The man tries to help her. Suddenly, the body of the old woman rises behind him, telling him it is now his turn. The man has a flashback of himself driving a car, trying to grab a beer, while her car is pinning a woman. He crushes into another car. A woman is pinned by her car. She is about to die when she points to her child lying in the grass in front of the car. The man feels guilt but leaves the scene of the crime and places a note on the car windshield. Back in the elevator, he tells the old lady, "I'm sorry," over and over again, and asks her to take him instead of the young lady. The devil says no deal and throws the elevator down the shaft. When it stops, the man gets on the engineer's radio and talks to the detective. He tells him what he did. Both the detective and the young guard listen to him and realize what that means. Inside the elevator, the young lady finally dies in his arms. The devil is mad because she wants the man to die. As the firefighters open the elevator doors, the lights go out and then back on. The devil only lets one person live, and that is the man. The old woman disappeared. The detective sees the man sitting in the lobby while the paramedics take out the bodies. He tells him he will take him to the station. Next, they are seen in a car together. The man is in the backseat, and the detective tells him that he forgives him even though he killed his family that day. And the movie ends. Subscribe to watch more movie recaps like this. Thanks for watching. See you in the next plot. Goodbye.